Hi and welcome back. I wanted to show you a quick video on weapon proficiencies, which is a pretty new thing in the game. And basically it makes your weapon better. Now each weapon has a different proficiency that's valuable to it. So just to show you what I'm talking about, currently I'm wielding a Dream Blossom Staff, right here, Dream Blossom Staff. And at the top, underneath where your HP and your mana would be, it depends on how you have your UI set up, but at the top here, you're going to have this little set of 3 buttons, and if you hover over it, it says Open Weapon Proficiency Dialog, and it'll have a percentage, and it's probably 0 if you're using your brand new weapon. So if we open the Weapon Proficiency Dialog, this looks a little bonkers. So I've already completed the majority weapon proficiency. I've completed all of the main weapon proficiencies, and now I'm just going for mastery on this weapon. Whenever you start to unlock a proficiency, you'll have certain things that apply to that weapon, and you can pick from one of the 2 within a column. For example, I picked plus 3% critical extra damage for ice spells and runes, because I like using Frigo. However, you could have also done the same thing for energy spells and runes. So this one tends to switch between ice and energy. I kept with that theme and went for Ice Strike, and instead of Energy Strike. I did +1 to my magic level, instead of plus 2.5% damage against magical creatures, because that feels so niche. So I decided not to pick that one. And then it continues along that line. Now, let's take a look at a new weapon. So just for fun, I'm going to switch over to a club, which I have never used on this character before. So let's take a look at my weapon proficiency now. I have them, they're all grade. Sometimes they're a choice, and sometimes they're not. The first one we're going to get is the +1 defense modifier. That one has to be chosen. Next, +4% of your club fighting is extra damage for auto attacks. And then you can pick between gaining 5 hit points on kills, or +1 critical chance for auto attacks. I know what I'd pick, but this isn't a strategy guide. This is about you. So let's go down here and I'll show you what happens when we kill a creature. Let's go find ourselves the nice lion to kill. Here we go. So I'm going to hit this lion. I'm going to kind of smack him. Now I want to show you something kind of neat. First, I am not going to use my magic spells at all against this lion. I am merely going to hunt him down with a club and beat him. And now we've gotten a 4%. So let's see what happens. I'm going to walk away from this lion where I'm not within melee range, and I'm going to use my spell to kill it. And I'm up to 8%. So fret not, my mage friends. You can still gain weapon proficiency, even if you're not using the weapon to do it. So if you're trying to increase your sword, for example, to use the imbues later, and we'll get into imbuements in another video, you may want to increase that weapon's proficiency, but you don't want to stand around because your skill in swords or in clubs is very low. So go ahead and use your spells. As long as the weapon is equipped, you'll be gaining that proficiency. Again, equip your weapon, check your proficiencies, and then select as you go. I do want to show you something a little different here. I'm going to go back to my Dream Blossom Staff. So let's say that this one is locked. You can see all of them here have this lock. It means I've chosen to pick these as my locked choices. I cannot change this weapon here as is. But let's head back real quick. Just gonna sit in the house. This is our guild hall. Now I'm in a safe zone. Because I'm in a protected zone, I can change this to something else. So let's say for a second, you know what? I can't do ice. I'm going to be fighting frost giants. Well, you're in a safe zone. So hit reset. Doesn't cost you anything. And then you come along and you apply the energy spells, whichever one you want. Bam. Done. Now I'm ready for frost giants. No problem. But I'm an ice user. That's what I want to do. I'm going to hit reset. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to apply all my ice spells again. That's where I like to be. So don't worry, weapon proficiency friends. You're not stuck with your choices, and it costs you nothing to change. Also, don't forget, fun fact, bosses give 5,000 proficiency points. So if you run into Grorlum, or Bibby Bloodbath, or Mama Longlegs, make sure you stop by and say hello so you can get that 5,000 point proficiency bonus. That's it for this video. See you next time.